Remember how Obi-Wan helped guide Luke on the path to become a Jedi? But why did Obi-Wan think Luke was just like his father, Anakin? Lucky for us, we have an answer. In the canon book The Empire Strikes Back, from a certain point of view, we see Obi-Wan's thoughts on just how similar Luke really was to his father when Luke tried to rush off to Bespin to save his friends. I had hoped that dying would be enough to untangle me from the Skywalker family issues. And yet, here I am once again, Obi-Wan Kenobi, one with the Force, and still the only thing standing between a Skywalker and an impulsive decision that could have galactic consequences. Tatooine had by no means been a glamorous location for exile, though I had no choice but to settle myself near Luke's guardians. Yoda, however, chose Dagobah as his refuge, the only planet that smelt worse than the Jedi Temple training rooms after a combat class. I'm shocked Luke stayed this long. If it were Anakin sent here with minimal instructions delivered to him by a ghost, only to see his ship swallowed up by a sinkhole, Yoda cracking his droid on the dome, and dealing with Yoda's terrible cooking, he would have been grinding his teeth in a way that used to drive me mad. Anakin would have stormed out of the hut, loudly reciting a list of frustrations to no one in particular. If he'd been unable to get his X-Wing out of the swamp, I have no doubts that Anakin would have found a way to walk off the planet. But Luke stayed, and Master Yoda taught him. I only had to appear to Yoda in half a dozen dreams to convince him that Luke was different than Anakin, and how this time would be different. At least we know what not to do when it comes to training chosen ones. Through the swampy mist, I see Luke throwing supplies into the cargo bay of his X-Wing, hastily and disorganized, shouting over his shoulder at Yoda. I seemed to have arrived mid-rant, and Luke had yet to notice me. I doubt my presence would have done much to quell his passion. Anakin never held his tongue against his elders. The Skywalkers are wildfires, their passion scorching the dirt as soon as they're given the spark. I've got to help them, Luke says. You must not go, Yoda replies. He's huddled on the ground, beneath the nose of the X-Wing. Yoda, somehow, he seemed even shakier on his feet than the last time I was here. But Han and Leia will die if I don't, Luke replies furiously, dropping off the ladder of his X-Wing. Since no one is pointing out the obvious flaw in that logic, I felt the need to intervene. You don't know that, I said dryly. His hair had gotten long since the last time I saw him, and it falls over the scar that had rearranged one side of his face after the Wampa attack. I had hoped that death and time and becoming one with the Force might have taken the edge off the strangeness in seeing Anakin's eyes in his son's face. But now as they blaze with the same determination I saw so many times in life, it overwhelms me. I spent years and years on that sand cell on Tatooine, with nothing to do but relive everything I could have done differently, then slowly let each one go, trying to make peace with losing Anakin. But shades of him and his son's face catapult me back in time, and all those years I spent by Anakin's side, fighting and teaching and laughing and nearly dying, saving each other over and over, spill across my mind. It's not about Anakin anymore, it's about Luke, and not letting him make the same mistakes his father and I did. I found this passage to be extremely interesting, as Obi-Wan connects the dots and comes up with his own realization that Luke is just like Anakin. Where Obi-Wan has a lot of nostalgia about Anakin through Luke, Yoda didn't even want to train Luke in the first place because he believed Luke was just like Anakin, and Yoda preferred to train Leia instead. Luke did have a lot of Anakin in him, but he also had a lot of his mother, Padme, in him as well. Luke never lost faith that a part of Anakin was still in Vader. His love and undying faith that his father was still in there was the catalyst for Anakin returning to the light. But speaking of Luke, I made a video about why Yoda almost refused to train Luke. If you want to check that one out, it should be on your screen now. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.